Good evening, my friends, and welcome to Environmental Coffee House. I am your host, Sandy Shallis, but tonight, on All Hallows Eve, Halloween, we have a special guest host whom I hope you will enjoy. She is taking a big risk by being with this little channel of ours. She has some things she wants to say. So please enjoy. I'm going to turn the reins over to her.
Good evening. Welcome to Environmental Coffee House. I am the guest host, and it is Ivana Trump, no other than, and welcome. And guess what? I did not fall down the stairs. No, that is going to be discussed tonight. And I have a few things I'm going to talk about because there's a lot going on. And no, I am not buried in Bedminster. No, it is not. No. There's a whole story behind this, but it all folds in with, it folds in with environmental issues, which Donald doesn't like. But I'm going to start with what's going on with me because I am not dead, okay? I'm going to tell you the story. All right. So, anyway, it's very hot. I must take my fur off. You know, I'm going to tell you. The very, very interesting part of the story is where I live. I now am in St. Petersburg, Russia. And before I start, guys, we're going to have some Prosecco. We're going to have some Italian champagne. I got it. It was not easy, but I did it for this show so I could have a toast with you. And let me tell you, it was not easy to get an internet connection, to try to find a little tiny channel that I could do something on in America and talk about what happened to me and tell everybody the story. Because, well, living in Russia is very strange because you all know that I was born in 1949 in the Czech Republic. And interestingly enough, the flag is red, white, and blue. So I'm going to have my Czech flag tonight. But let's take a toast. Let's take a toast to the fact that I'm not dead. And I'm going to tell you how it happened. And you know that son of a bitch, that old curmudgeon that I was married to. Only 14 years, Only 14 years. But girls, you know what happens after 14 years? You get the money. You take what you can get. Yes. And remember, I made that cameo appearance in the First Wives Club. Toast, guys. Happy Halloween. Yes. So very good because right now we cannot have, it's very, very hard to get any kind of Italian champagne. And another thing is, in Russia, the hairdressers are just not the same as in New York or in Saint Tropez or in San Moritz or in Italy or in Los Angeles even. It's a lot different. So I'm going to start with, who I am. If I was found out right now, I could get in a lot of trouble because of that. I am not supposed to be talking. And what it really was a non-disclosure agreement. And I had to obtain the Donald, he likes me to call him the Donald, written consent in advance. And it shall not directly or indirectly publish, which means I can't, right? On any diary or memoir, letter, story, photograph, interview, article, essay, account, description, depiction of any kind whatsoever, whether fictionalized or not, concerning my marriage, right? My marriage, or any aspect of Donald's personal business, financial affairs, any of it. Well, in 2022, Donald knew that the NDA after 30 years was ending. And he was no longer president, although he was telling everybody he was. He was telling everybody that he won the election. And it was very strange for me. But, at that time, I was living in my New York apartment, which you can see behind me because I've got all these beautiful pictures of all of my work was just so the kind of designer I was did so well. Oh, let me tell you, I need another one. And by the way, did you know that I had gone to rehab? Mm-hmm. You did not know, did you? Because the press did not really cover that very much, and I did not want my children to know. At that time, I had grandchildren, and I think I've got like 10 grandchildren. I literally do not talk to Eric or Don Jr. It was a whole year before they even knew that I was not buried in Bedminster. And that son of a bitch, it buried me. He wanted to make it a funeral place. He wanted to sell plots for people, and he buried. Do you honestly think that's where I'm buried? Do you honestly think? I mean, come on. This is. Do you think I'm in there? I mean, I could be, but look at that. I mean, if I was really there, would he have left it to look like that? I mean, maybe, because he has turned into a son of a bitch. I defended that man for years. When I met him, okay, I'm going to start my story. How I was born in Czech Republic. It was part of the Soviet Union, 1949. And I got the taste of freedom because I could ski. And my father, he wanted me to swim or ski. And once I started skiing, I realized, I wanted the taste of not being behind the Iron Curtain, and back then we didn't know. So I was very lucky. I got to go to Montreal in Canada. I met a man. I married this guy, but, it was a marriage of convenience. It was a marriage of convenience. And it was basically because I did not want to go back. My parents were there, but I did not want to go back to the Czech Republic. So lo and behold, I made it to New York, and I was doing some modeling, and I was with 8 other girls. And we were going to, it's a restaurant called Maxwell Plums. It was in Manhattan. And we were looking to get our seats. And this very tall, blonde gentleman, he puts his hand on me and he says, "Ladies, don't worry about a thing." He gets us a table, and it turns out he said his name was Donald Trump. And the funny part of the story was, after we ate, we were all scrambling to try to figure out how to pay the bill, and it was paid. The bill was paid. So we have to go back to our hotel, and there's a car outside, and Donald was driving the car. It's probably the last time he ever drove a car, because The driver was off for the evening, so he picked us up and he took us to the hotel. Yes, he did. So that was the beginning. And 8 months later, we got married, and his parents liked me. His mother was, she was kind of, she was kind of, well, she was kind of bitchy, if you don't mind me saying so. Hey, listen, what's the worst that can happen to me? I'm 75 years old, and everybody thinks that I'm dead, and I'm not. Although actually my children, they know I'm not dead. They do know I'm not dead. So what's the worst that can happen? I give you a story. So I'm at the steps and I was planning my trip, but I knew that my trip was not going to go to Saint Tropez with my girlfriends. No, 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 no. No, actually, Rudy. Rudy Giuliani did a lot of dirty work. To 2022, they were very close. Rudy did a lot of dirty work for Donald. Rudy and a couple of his henchmen, they took me, and, well, it started out in, believe it or not, they wanted me to be in Kamchatka. Do you know where Kamchatka is in Russia? Beautiful place with nothing. There's nothing there. I mean, the room was like a prison. And I said, this is not for me. You either want me dead or you want me out of the way so I cannot write about you. You think I'm going to write about you, or do you want me to live? So, okay, so it started in kombucha, whatever. And I decided, listen, do you want me not to write this book? You need to find me better place. So we decided I would go to St. Petersburg, and it is quite beautiful where I am. But the story is good because I learned things in St. Petersburg by being in the hotel and I ran into some scientists. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I am getting ahead of myself. So we'll just have another little drink. So it was Rudy. And it's funny because you think that you have to be taken out and you have to be covered up. And they actually literally did. They had to cover me up to get me out of the apartment because it was going to be a staged event that they paid off the medical examiner, because Donald knows everyone. After we were divorced, Donald's favorite show, it was The Sopranos. He really loved Tony Soprano. And from what I understand from the children, he used to yell at the TV when Tony Soprano was on, telling Tony what he was doing wrong. Because I know I worked for him. I worked with Donald. Donald put me in, I ran the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan, and I was vice president of Trump International, and I did a lot of work. I had thousands of people underneath me, and I was a mother of those my three beautiful children. 3 children, I always made sure they ate their vegetables. And that's another thing, the vegetable situation in Russia right now. Not a good vegetable situation, no. And also, don't think the flooding around the world is lost on me either. After I met these people, oh my goodness, my whole mind changed. I lived a life of consumption. I had a yacht. And in fact, my yacht was so big, but it wasn't big enough. And when I ordered my yacht, it was maybe, I think it was 10 feet smaller than they advertised it. I sued them and they did settle with me. I don't know who owns it now, but they settled with me. And did you know that my apartment in Manhattan is now for sale again? I don't know if Ivanka ever sold it. Jared. I don't like Jared. Jared is a moron. But Ivanka, at least I have one smart child. And they've got it up. It's at East 64th Street, and they've got it for $20 million. Who's going to get that money? Donald needs the money. So when I died, which I did not die, I had a $34 million, okay, $1 million, and I had made all that money myself. I had made those little jewelry spiders, and I was selling on Home Shopping TV. And those spiders, believe it or not, they were not made in China like my ex husband's stupid Bibles. And another thing, we never went to church. I never saw that man ever go to church. Our children were raised Catholic, but I was a Catholic in Czechoslovakia. But we never went to church. What are you kidding? On Sundays? No. Donald slept late, and then he was on the phone all day long. So anyway, they did get me out of the apartment, and the plane. Okay, getting to Russia was no fun because, of course, we couldn't do commercial, but we had to fly under the radar. If you get my joke, we had to fly under the radar. I flew a transatlantic flight on, it was literally a 1980s jet. Now, I used to fly in the 1980s, and okay, in the 1980s, the jet was fine. But in 2022, the 1980s jet, and I was used to opulence. I mean, I'm used to my bubbles. I'm used to my things. At least I got to keep a few of my things. But for the most part, the stuff was kept by most of it Ivanka. The two idiot sons of mine who they used to be, my children, were the apple of my eye. They were the apple of my eye. But I do not like Eric or Don's women. These women, I don't know where these women came from, but these are not the kind of women that I would ever pick for them. No, this Kimberly, she looks terrible. They don't have taste. I don't know what happened. And one of the reasons why I had to go to rehab is because I was so upset over what happened and how it became so crazy, that Donald lost his mind. And the children, they were changing. And Ivanka, she married this Jared. And oh my God, I know that money very, very important, and I don't have any anymore. Not like I did. They take care of my needs. I can have certain things, but most of that money that was in my will, which was the $34 million, you know who got that money? That $34 million went to Donald because he doesn't have money. And it's so shocking to me that he sells the garbage he sells, because my stuff was so beautiful. My perfume and my jewelry, it was so nice. And people bought the stuff all over the world. But I've realized so many things since then. Consumerism is killing the planet. But you can never say that to Donald Trump. You can never say that to my daughter, because she doesn't understand. And I learned because I ran into these scientists in St. Petersburg, and they are no longer able to work with American scientists. So there's a lot of problems in the world, a lot of problems. And I never realized how much my lifestyle and the lifestyle of all of my friends was destroying the planet. It's our only home. And it's so funny to see Donald. Oh, he likes when I call him the Donald. To see the Donald running around with the likes of Elon Musk, who was the guy that was building the electric cars. And Donald always told me after our divorce, because we did stay friends, even if I did not like the whore he left me for. And Melania I tolerate because she's angry at me. Melania is angry at me because I was the first lady, Donald. I'm sorry, I was the first lady, Trump. And I never said once that I was the first lady of the United States. That was Melania. She very quiet. I never would have been a first lady like her. First of all, I would have been doing so much more charity work and I would have been out there doing so many things. But she's very quiet. She won't talk to me anymore because of the first lady. She thought I was trying to capitalize off, I don't know, the book I couldn't write, right? The book I couldn't write. I mean, she's fine, she's nice. And here's another little tidbit. When Donald and I had Ivanka, we had such a fight because he wanted to name her Tiffany. Well, guess what? He got himself a Tiffany. I was dead set against Tiffany. I thought the name Tiffany sounded like a sex worker. I did not like it. So that was not it. We got our Ivanka, who is a spectacular person. Ivanka has been here. She can travel. She knows how to travel without getting in trouble and without blowing my cover. Because if my cover was blown, well, the first thing is Donald would lose his tax favoritism that's happening in New Jersey, where he pays no tax on Bedminster Golf Club. No, he paid no tax there. He taught me very early about taxes, and he also taught me very early about environmental regulations. When we were building the Taj Mahal, and that was in New Jersey, Donald figured out how to pay off anybody that gave a shit about the environment. The laws were not as stringent in the 1980s as they are now with the EPA and every state with their environmental protection agencies. But in New Jersey, it did not matter. And the casinos, they wanted the money, so they gave him what he wanted. And you know what happens there? Because he cheated on me and he lost me as his business manager and partner. And did you know when I left, and because he did that and he cheated with the trollop, and they fired at the plaza. Everybody that worked for me got fired. And that's what a tyrant he is. It's very sad. Very, very, very sad. So Donald did this and he did not care. Remember about he bought that to build the property in Ireland, and all those people he hurt, he wanted to destroy, and he did. He destroyed the land. He couldn't care less about anything that has to do with the environment. He would have had the septic from that golf course run right into the ocean if he could. Okay? But the people there fought against him. They gave him, they were formidable opponents to him, Very, very, very formidable. But, I did not know this because I spent so much time working and raising those children. And when we were at all those New York parties in the 80s, it was all for show. But when we went home, we didn't talk very much. Donald was, he was not interested. And another thing, he was not the walking, take the babies for a walk in Central Park. Oh, no. He did not talk to those children until they were old enough, until they were in college. And here's another thing. Oh my God. Donald Jr. shocked me when he started hunting. And all of a sudden, he got into this thing of killing and he went to Africa. I was so against it. I felt so upset about Donald Jr. going there. And what a shit show. And oh, yes, it was Scotland. Thank you for reminding me it was Scotland. I'm sorry, I didn't mean Ireland. I know he really, really did a mess. It was. It was. And it still is. It still is. The people, they hated him there. And I never realized how many people hate him. How many people hate him. Because I used to say, I think that we have a call. Oh no, oh no. I have to be very, very careful. Who is calling me? Oh my. Oh my. Let me see. Uh, we have a guest, and I think it is the Donald. Oh no, what am I going to do? I've got to bring him in. Do I have to let him talk? He's not going to talk. Well, let me see. I don't know how to do this. I'm not exactly the most. Uh, Jeez, I don't know. What does he have to say? What do you have to say? Okay, hang on. Hang on. I think it is Donald. Oh my goodness. What are we going to do? How do I add him to this? Okay, I'm going to add him in here. Are you there? Hello?
I here.
Oh no. Oh no. How? How could you find me? How? How did you find me?
Because listen, I was listening to the whole entire stories that you told the goddamn audience. You're lying. You're basically lying.
I'm not
You,
lying. You know I'm not lying. You know I know
yes,
the
you
truth.
are.
You know
Yes, you are.
that non-disclosure
Shut the hell.
agreement.
You are lying. And I'm
Well,
still
what are you
pissed at
going to
you.
do? Put me in Siberia?
You're gonna get locked up in Bedminster.
No, I'm not. I'm not leaving
Oh,
Russia.
yes, you are.
No, and I'm going to contact Putin. He like me better than he like you.
Okay. Well,
Yes, he
Putin
does.
loves me so much. He loves me and he makes love with me every single goddamn night.
Donald, you have a wife. She may not like you, and I heard you wear diapers and smell now, but at least it ain't me. It
Oh,
is
the
not me.
diapers. Oh, they're made out of my shit and my cum and my piss.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Come on. I'm here. You wouldn't let me write the book. I wanted to write the
I
book.
didn't
You
want you to
made me
write the book, damn it.
Well, the first book I didn't have to ask. Why should I have to ask? It was in the
Because,
1990s. You left me. Why? Why would I have to ask you?
well, because you would have
And I
to
had
get
more
my
money.
consent. Why? Because you wanted to get my consent first.
Oh, listen, I had more money than you, Donald. That's why you wanted me out.
Lies.
It's not lies. You know it's not lies. My God.
You want to challenge that?
So what are you going to do next? Are you going to send me to Siberia, where the permafrost is melting? You're going to send me or thawing? You're going to send me out to thawing permafrost, where there's no hairdressers? You know?
Oh,
What are you going to do?
Even better than that.
What?
I might send you to Russia prison.
A Russian prison?
Yes.
Who's going to do my hair in a Russian prison?
Nobody.
Who's going to do my nails and my hair in a Russian prison? And why?
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 Because
Oh, yes.
you made all these lies and you told them all about the audience. Plus, I'm still pissed at you that you went on Fox News and said that you support women's rights to abortions.
You might be mixing me up with Melania. Have you mixed up your wives? Oh,
Oh,
and by the
Lord.
way, Donald, remember when, you called Marla's family the Beverly Hillbillies, but the Beverly Hillbillies of Washington, and they were Hicks, and how much you like your Southern supporters, the supporters from the South, and you called her whole family that? You remember that?
I don't remember that. I lost my memory. I am currently suffering from amnesia.
Well, you should remember that. You do. You should remember that. Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
and
Oh,
you completely lied about being dead.
I did not lie about being dead, Donald. You sent Rudy to take me. You sent Rudy Giuliani and his henchmen to take me. What do you want from me? You wouldn't even let me go to St. Moritz. My girlfriends were
Uh,
devastated. Devastated.
oh, oh, you
We
should be
couldn't even tell the
devastated
kids. We couldn't tell the children for a whole year.
because I didn't
Although
want them to know.
they thought I was buried in that shithole. Did they
You,
really?
you're
You think
damn
that
right.
they thought I was buried here? Which
You're damn right.
it looked like this first. And by the way,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot find a hairdresser to give me my beehive. It's
Oh,
very
no, yeah.
upsetting. I have a very
No,
small
that's
beehive,
great.
but Donald, do you like my beehive? I mean, Donald, we are not that different in age. Do you like the way I look, Donald? Do you?
Of course I do.
You
Not.
still think you still think I have it, Donald?
I
I
still
think
think
it.
you.
Of course I do. Of course I do. But the problem, Donald, is that is years gone by. You left me. We are divorced, and it happened when you started whoring around with that slut,
With a slut named
Marla.
Ivana.
No, I was never a slut. You know, I was a skier. Skiers are not sluts.
No, I was
No.
talking about Ivanka.
Ivanka, how dare you? How do you call our daughter a slut? She married an idiot, but that does not
No,
mean
no, no.
she's a
I was
slut.
talking about Melania. You call Melania a slut. How dare you?
Everybody wants to hear you. You're not loud enough. And I'm
How
trying,
dare
but
you
I
call my
don't know
wife
how to
a slut?
use. I'm not a professional at this. She just
I said,
said,
how dare you? How dare you call my wife a slut?
I did not call Melania a slut. I called
You know,
Marla a slut. She was a slut. She walked up to me and said, I love your husband. Do you? Do you remember that? Because
I
everybody
don't
on
remember.
page 6 remembers it in Manhattan. Everybody
Bullshit.
on
I don't
page
remember
6.
that.
Of course you remember that.
Bullshit.
So what's the next thing?
What's the next thing? Uh,
Yes.
yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Climate
What?
change is so woke, and it's not real.
Woke?
Yes, it's
What?
woke, and it's not real because it was made up by Al Gore. You
Not
damn well know it.
Al Gore. He should have been the president. And maybe you should never have thought of running. You know, you would have been better than staying in the hotels. You would have been better in the hotels and selling apartments to Russians and Chinese. You would have been better selling them to the Saudis. Oh, by the way, where's the $2 billion Jared got from Saudis? Where's that money that
Oh,
you had to take
oh
all
yeah.
of my
No,
money?
they might
And
have
I made
stolen
more
away from
money.
my house.
You remember when I
They
made more
stole away
money
from
than
my
you
house.
selling my spiders?
They stole that shit away from my house.
Well, I think we have a big problem. I do. And you can't touch me. You can't touch me because I know that I can at least get Vladimir Putin on my side. He's not going to have me killed like you are.
Yeah, right. He's on
You
my side.
you can talk to him.
I'll talk to him
I'm
when
very
I get off of
happy.
this.
Okay, well, I'm going to throw you off because I want to show everybody where I'm living. I want to show you
Where?
everybody. I want to show everybody my place in St. Petersburg and how beautiful it is. You know, Russia is a beautiful country, but 35 degrees Fahrenheit today. It is warm. It is unseasonably warm. Very
Uh,
warm.
very
Yeah.
one.
Very warm. And the scientists I talk to, Donald, you say climate change is a hoax. I have since learned because in Russia, believe it or not, they're very progressive. Although they like fossil
Okay.
fuels, tell me, I have learned this is not a hoax, Donald. Our lifestyle has changed the planet forever. All of our friends, all of the yachts, all of the burning, all of the money, all of the planes. We have ruined
Uh,
this planet.
and I still stand by those words.
Ugh, the words. The words. I think you've lost your mind. I think you have Alzheimer's. I think you need
Uh,
help.
uh, you think
You
I have
completely.
Alzheimer's?
You need help. Well, I'm hanging up. I'm hanging up. Do what you may. I'm not dead. I'm not in play.
Well,
I'm
fine, talk to you
75
later.
now. I'm not going to be
I'm
dead.
78.
And I look a lot better than you do for 75. Let me tell you, I aged way better, even if I am
Well, you
drinking a
think you're
little
so
bit too
tough.
much. Yes, I am.
Well,
I'm very tough. I run your businesses a lot better than you ever did.
bullshit. I ran a real tough. And plus, you forgot the Apprentice, where I got on that
Oh,
reality show
The
from
Apprentice.
NBC.
Okay, if you ever did not have Apprentice, you would not have ever been the president because you fooled American people. And it's very,
Oh, I
very
fooled.
sad. You fooled them. You fooled American people to think that you actually have any kind of ethics. And I also told everybody here, all 54 people watching, we never went to church. They're calling you Jesus. For God's
Oh, good.
sakes, you gonna keep this up?
Maybe
My
if I
God.
win.
Maybe if you win. Do you really think you have a chance of winning? My God.
I
And
haven't
I've
looked at the
also learned
polls.
a lot. I don't like what Jared Kushner is doing. I don't like
I do too.
that these people are being slaughtered over there because Jared Kushner wants to build hotels on the Gaza Strip. I've changed.
Um,
You
I've
know,
changed.
yes, you've changed a lot. And I don't like it. But I'm hanging up on you because I want to show everybody where I live in St. Petersburg. It is not that bad, but it is different, and I'm going to hang up on you. I'm tired of you. I want you to go.
All right, tell Ron DeSantis he is an AI woke machine. Goodbye then.
Ron I don't go to Florida. How can I go I can't even come back to the US.
I don't
You've
know.
got me in a prison. Although I'm going to show everybody the prison. It's pretty nice. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. He's gone. He's gone. What a dork. He has changed. I can't even when you're young and you pick men, we completely don't know. So let me show you St. Petersburg. Let me show you where I live. It's quite beautiful. I'm very lucky because I really don't want to live on thawing permafrost, and that's exactly what he would have me do. of course, is nothing like New York, my apartment that you see behind me. My bedroom was beautiful. It was so nice. But I have learned, like I said, I learned a lot. And I learned about consumption. And I learned that we are really losing the planet. And if I had not bumped into these climate scientists in St. Petersburg that who are quite frankly because of that stupid war in Ukraine, it's very awful to see that these madmen think that they can just take over these countries. It's just overwhelming. And then there's that Netanyahu, who my son-in-law thinks the moon and the stars are over. My God, what happened to my family? It's too much. Maybe it's best for me to be here. I mean, am I safe here? What do you think? What do you think? I don't know, but I wanted to show you where I live, and right now, it's a good place. I am getting older. I am 75, although yes, I know how good I look. Yes, because like I said before, I left America, I had good plastic surgeons. Although a couple of my last videos, I looked at myself and I thought, what? Ivana, your face. Well, you can't stay beautiful forever. You can't. You can't. Ivanka thinks she can. But she wasn't always beautiful either before the plastic surgeons. And did you know that Eric and Don Jr. both had it? And my God, if you look at Don Jr.'s girlfriend, the Kimberly, and that one who used to go out with the governor of California. How did that happen? And how did they become Republicans? And how did all these evangelicals start following my ex-husband? It's like a nightmare. I thought, okay, he's going to do the best for the country, and the immigration is important. I came legally by marrying a guy, and then marrying another guy, and Melania gets what is called Einstein visa. What is Einstein visa? Whatever. Who got it for her? Jeffrey Epstein? I know Donald knew Jeffrey Epstein, but I never let him, at least when I knew, I never let him pal around with that guy. I did not like him at all. No. Well, I'm almost done with my beautiful Prosecco, which I had to pretty much pay a very big price for. And, it's very, like I said, it's very hard to get anything like that in St. Petersburg, but it is what it is. So did anybody want to give me... Oh my gosh, Sandy will be so happy. She was very nice to do this, to let me come here. But I honestly, I really did not think, how did the Donald find me? Thank you, Donald. Another Donald, a better Donald. At least a better Donald that wants to give me some money, because the other one took it all away. Because I had more than him. And how many bankruptcies? And Trump University, he steals from people. Trump steaks, Trump sneakers, Trump Bibles. My God. Well, I should move over. Maybe I'll show you my beehive. But this was my apartment. I would give anything to be back in New York. I would. I really would. But, even in living in Kamchatka in the beginning, the peninsula was okay. This bohemian girl, I guess she can acclimate, But let me tell you, there was no blunt force trauma to my torso, And they said they took the body and cremated it And then, it was very funny. I thought it was very funny because I was watching the news from Russia and how they had these gigantic casket. Like, what did they have in there? You know, gold bricks? Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. I would not put anything past that man. And quite frankly, please, I do not want him to win. You know why? Because when we were married, and I did not pay attention to this. I thought it was because of his German heritage. And I realized when he had that book on the nightstand, My New Order, the Hitler speeches, I thought it was just a passing phase. And holy, I can't even curse. I really can't curse. But it was upsetting. But when we are young, we do not see what we understand when we're older. You know, we take the abuse, and he was abusive, and he wasn't always very nice at all. And I told you, he was not a hands on father, and he was not the kind of guy that really gave a crap about the kids. But you do learn. And now look at me. Because I was married to this guy for 14 years and I did better than him in my businesses and he kicked me out. And now I am relegated to live in St. Petersburg in a hotel. And I really can't leave. No, I really can't leave. Oh, thank you. Yes, the next yacht. No, this is for Sandy, her channel, because she was nice enough to take the risk. Now she's probably on some big list, but she told me, "Don't worry, I'm on some big list because she says she's the enemy within anyway." And my ex is saying so many things that in my life I would never have ever expected to hear this man say anything. So, okay, we have been an hour, almost an hour, 48 minutes. I am going to probably lose my connection. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble if they do trace it. I hope that the host of this channel does not get in trouble. She knows she already is, so she said, okay, I'm going to take the chance and let you guest host for Halloween because I understand that you do let people guest host on Halloween. And unfortunately, last year it was that freaky type of woman, that Kimberly Tammy Lauren Gargoyle. Oh my gosh, where these women come from. And the women that hang out in Mar-a-Lago, don't even get me started on them. Women did not look like that in the 80s. In the 90s, when I was married, we did not have those. I mean, we were normal, natural women. It was just insane. It was just insane. Well, anyway, I am glad to be friends. You know what? I am glad to be friends with her too because she teach me. And we really have to work very hard to get American YouTube channel. But I do watch them. And there's others I watch. And I will tell Donald he's full of shit. Because climate change is not a hoax. And we are seeing it everywhere. Everywhere. Did you see my beautiful Spain, Valencia, flooding? Oh my gosh. And sea level rise. I've learned so much I was never able to learn, never able to know about before because everybody kept me so closed. I did not have the information. Now I realize all those years, I spent all those years with so many stupid people who think they're not. But people in the billionaire class, including me, I've learned they're not the smart ones. You are. And I'm going to leave you with that. You, you are the smart ones. You know, she told me she does this thing called the flush of the day. She very funny. I think your host on this channel is very funny. And if we were going to do something, well, what do you think? What would Sandy be very happy to flush? I think that she would be very happy to flush Donald right down the toilet. Goodbye. And let's hope that man does not win the election. Because, quite frankly, and I don't like the curse, he's a piece of shit. And he was a piece of shit back then. I didn't know it. I did not even understand it. I didn't know what a narcissist was. Oh, I've since learned all about that stuff because when I can get YouTube, it does help me. YouTube can be good, but Russia, we're very, very much, what is the word? We can't see, And what I'm afraid of is that the United States is going to be just like it is here in Russia. It is. And it's scary. So think about what you're doing this month. Think about what you're doing and please go out. Vote your conscience, vote your heart. But don't vote for my ex-husband because he's a complete clueless fucking moron. Good night. I love you and maybe I can be back if they don't blindfold me and take me to Siberia. And she taught me to do this. She says, you must give the peace sign. Remember the peace sign. You learned the peace sign. When you lived in New York, people always did the peace sign. So give the peace sign and say good night. Good night. And thank you all for coming. Hopefully, I will not be 6 feet under in Bedminster because they have to bring me back from Russia. Can you imagine that flight? Being dead? Good night. Happy Halloween.